Hi everyone, welcome back to the Clara CFO Group channel. Today we're going to talk about different types of scams that we're seeing around the PPP and the EIDL loan. We're going to try to talk about how those things are happening, to the best of our ability, maybe some stories there, but then really we're going to talk about how to identify if somebody is trying to take advantage of you through one of these scams. Okay, so if you got either one of these programs, this would be a great thing for you to listen to. Please go ahead, if this is helpful, please give it a like this video. Please give it a like if it is, and leave any comments or questions below. And we'd also love to have you subscribe to the channel as well. All right, well, let's go ahead and get into it. So what we are seeing is that the PPP and EIDL loan, there was so much money so much money being thrown into these programs that this is obviously a big neon sign for people who want to take advantage and people who want to scam. Whenever there's a lot of money, the scammers are going to come out. Okay. So we are seeing all sorts of different types of ploys, games, all sorts of tactics that these people are using in order to try to get money from you, the legitimate business owners. Okay. So we've already talked about fraud. So the people who have gone out and gotten PPP loans or EIDL loans that never should have gotten them. We've talked about that already, but now we need to talk about what about the people who legitimately are getting the money or want to legitimately get the money because they have a legitimate business and they've maybe fallen for a trick. They've fallen for somebody's promise to help them with the PPP loan or maybe help them get an EIDL loan, things like that. These are the things we want to talk about. So just to kind of step up back, if you applied for these loans, you want to make sure that you applied through the right venues. So the EIDL loan and the EIDL advance, you both went directly to the SBA website, sba.gov, and applied directly there. So if you applied for an EIDL loan through any other agent, that might be a sign that maybe you could have been part of a scam tactic, okay? So I just want to let you know that. So EIDL directly through the SBA. PPP, you went directly through a lender. So this could be a bank, it could be something like Womply or Bluevine or some sort of like broker for other lenders. Those are okay, but ultimately they connected you with an end lender. You didn't go directly through the SBA. One of the biggest scams I've been seeing is people helping people apply for the PPP loan. So I'm going to put some examples around here. But you will see them, the examples of these people who are helping you apply for a PPP loan, the comments that I'm getting even on this channel where they're telling you to go to an Instagram account or a Telegram account or text a WhatsApp number. They're trying to get you to go to get help for your PPP loan. I've even seen people, and we've deleted a lot of these comments because we scrub through the comments as much as we can because we know that they're scams. But we've even seen people who have like SBA in their email address and they say, oh, just email me, I'm an SBA agent, blah, 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 blah. And I've even seen people take, and this is on YouTube, take the SBA logo, make it their profile picture, and then try to act like they're an SBA agent. Okay, so please just be aware that pretty much anything that the SBA is not actually commenting on YouTube channels. Okay, so let's just back it up a little bit. If you see people commenting on YouTube channels that says, hey, text me at blah, 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 I will help you get a loan, it's a scam. So we think this should be really straightforward, but sometimes these people get really tricky and they actually get into the conversation and they start being helpful. And then before you know it, they're like, hey, come over to my Instagram account. I did look up one of these Instagram accounts and it was literally pictures of approved PPP loans with sometimes they even showed like the person's face and then approved in the back. So they're trying to be like, hey, look at me. I get people approved for the PPP loan. So guys, this is just, it's not good. So if people are doing that for you, one of the indicators that the SBA says, so I'm looking at the SBA website right now, they have an actual way for you to report fraud if you are able to do that. So I'll make sure to put this link in the description box below. But one of the things that they say is that the SBA limits the fees a broker can charge to a borrower to 3% for loans of $50,000 or less, and 2% for loans of $50,000 to $1 million, and then an additional 0.25% on amounts over $1 million. Okay, so with a maximum total fee of $30,000. So what that means is that I have heard of these PPP loan agents taking 20, 30% of loans for sole proprietors, which means like if they're maxing out sometimes these applications of up to the full 20,000 because they're fraudulently changing your documents, or they're not even helping you fraudulently change your documents. Not that that's a good thing. They're just applying for a PPP loan under the max and then leaving you in a really bad situation because you've essentially applied for a PPP loan you shouldn't have gotten, or at least an amount you shouldn't have gotten, because they're trying to maximize their percentage on the other end. That's what these scammers are doing. Some of them are just not even looking at your documentation that they might ask for, and they're just putting in the maximum amount. They're taking their due, or they're charging you what they should be, or charging you what their fee is. Maybe it's 20, 30, 40%, which is totally over the limit that the SBA allows. And they're just kind of leaving you with the buck. The buck stops with you, You're the one who actually signs the application to get the money, and then you're the one who signs for forgiveness, and they are completely out of the picture. So essentially they've scammed you out of the PPP loan, whether or not, and then they might have even set you up to be in a fraudulent position in the eyes of the SBA, because if they have claimed that you have more money than you actually did, this is all a scam. Okay, so if this has happened to you, try to reach out to your lender and see what you can do to kind of remedy it. But essentially, if you've used one of these people, you need to make sure that you understand what you're signing. You also need to understand, what you're allowed under the guidelines of the PPP and the EIDL, and just make sure that you're doing it to the best of your ability. Because remember, it's on the borrowers to know that we're doing it correctly. Okay. So some other indicators that you might be working with an agent or somebody that is scamming you, that if you have received an email, and it says it's from the SBA, it needs to be coming from an SBA.gov email address. Okay. So if I've seen emails come to me that have an SBA logo in the corner, but when you actually look at the email address, it says SBA in the name of the email, but not in the actual domain name, where it says at SBA.gov. So it'll be, something like EIDL or direct customer service at SBA.gov, answer desk at SBA.gov. Okay, those are legitimate SBA email addresses. If it's anything other than that SBA.gov, and they're trying to act like they're from the SBA, they are not. So do not give them any information, okay? The other thing that these scammers are trying to do, or scammers in general are trying to do, is they are trying to fish for your personal identifiable information. They want to know your bank account numbers. They want to know your social security numbers. They want to know your personal address. They want to know your first and last name. They want to know your middle name. They want to know all these things. And that's all stuff that you actually have to put into documentation when you're applying for a loan. So you need to make sure that if you are giving that information to anyone, that you know who that person is. Okay, so when you apply for loans, you're going to have submitted that information. But if somebody emails you out of the blue asking you to confirm your social security number, or asking you for your address, or anything like that, you need to make sure that, one, this is a legitimate person. So if they're claiming to be the SBA, make sure you're looking for that SBA.gov email address, and also make sure that you're confirming your application number. Okay, so make sure you know your application number so that they can give that to you. Don't tell them your application number and ask them to confirm it. You want to know that they have the right application number. Okay, so these are the kind of things that we want to do to protect ourselves, because there is so much information in our emails every day, and then social media comes at us from a gazillion different directions, and people are promising to help. Well, we want help, but we want to make sure we're getting help from truly the right people, the people who are actually going to help us, okay? So these are just some flags that you might want to pay attention to if you think that you might be dealing with somebody who could be not legitimate. So again, I'm going to link this guidance directly from the SBA. I'm going to put that in the description box below so you can go and check it out, read it for yourself. And at the bottom, there is a place where you can report fraud. Okay? So I hope that's helpful to you. I hope none of this has happened to you, but I would highly recommend disregarding any comments in the comment section below that talk about Instagram or Telegram or WhatsApp, okay? All of those are gonna be just straight scams, okay? Do not bother with any of those. None of the legitimate business owners that are helping people get these loans or the legitimate, agents from the SBA, they are not hanging out in YouTube comments, okay? They are not trying to get more people into their doors through YouTube comments. So just be aware of that, okay? If you see anything like that there, don't. And then another thing is I've had people post as myself, as Clara CFO Group, they've created fake accounts and then tried to get people to text them through that. So just make sure if you think that the comment is from me, it will say the number of subscribers next to it. So if it says, if it looks like me and it says 1 subscriber, that's not the case. We are over 30,000 subscribers now. So you'll be able to tell that it's actually my legitimate account. You can always click on a profile in YouTube and make sure that it's a legitimate account before you take any advice. Okay? And I'm not giving advice in the comments, but a lot of times I'll answer questions. I never put a phone number to call or text. So if you see that, that's not from me, okay? Well, you guys, stay safe out there. The cyber world is full of all sorts of great information, but also people who just want to take advantage. So protect yourself and let me know if you have any stories below that could help another user. All right, thanks so much. Thanks for being here. Bye.